Well, he may be last in points, but Jerald Reddington starts first here today as the number 112 Nosurge machine leads him down into turn number 1 here at Watkins Glen. It was a great qualifying over for the two Nosurge cars as Wes Jones is to the outside in the 404. However, Franklin Reeves and his Toyota is going to get by him and to the S's. Jerald Reddington having the lead right now. They are side by side all the way through the field behind him. So we go through these opening seconds here. This is race 4 of the season, which means time is running out for these drivers to make something happen. Now, these drivers technically all have a mathematical shot going into this race, but after today, it's going to get harder and harder as we only have one race left to go in Dubois. They move through the bus stop, and Reddington and Reeves get out to a huge lead. As we take a look at our points leader, Mark Nutt has a win on the year, but troubles early. He's going to get into the outside wall, make some contact with Kip Pitt along the way, and that will drop the points leader all the way to last place. It's a tight battle up near the front as Franklin Reeves looks to the inside of the number 112 heading into turn number 1. You got a small gaggle of cars that have formed up there too. Wes Jones is there. Anne-Marie Dupuis is in the 09 car having a good showing so far. But Franklin Reeves is going to get it done in the AutoZone number 18. He's also suffering in the points. He's back down in 9th place. As we go through the bus stop here, we've got quite the battle shaping up. 3 wide through the carousel. Contact is made between all 3 of them. They crowd to the outside of the racetrack, and they're still going 3 wide. It's anyone's race here. Where Franklin Reeves looks like he's going to wisely back out for now. There's still a little bit of time to try and chase him back down. Reddington currently out front, but here comes Wes Jones underneath, riding the low line. Ooh, the 112 just touches the wall. Barely get a piece of paper between the two, and that gives the lead to Wes Jones in the number 404. Now, we mentioned that Reddington was last in points. Wes Jones is 12th in points. And we talked about Anne-Marie Dupuis, who's 11th in the standings. Well, that great run that she was having is going to dry up quick. The 09 car is going to go spinning on lap number 4 in the bus stop, make some contact with Dean Reynolds, and I don't think she's too happy with Mean Dean Reynolds in the 76, as she's running into the back of him as they try and get back onto the racetrack. They weren't the only two to go off in that corner, though. Peter Longbow and Mark Nutt having a rough day so far. I guess they gave in the peer pressure, saw the 2 people were playing out there in the bus stop, wanted to join them too. Up front, Wes Jones still leading, but the battle is shaping up between the 112 and the 18, and a new challenger starting to chase him down. That is the 21 of Kyle Schock Jr. right behind them. It looks like he's going to get a good run at number 112 as he gets by for 3rd place. Kyle Schock, another driver that needs something to happen going into the final race. And he's making something happen right now as he passes Franklin Reeves for 2nd place going into turn number 1. In fact, this field is almost the opposite of the points going into this one, just showing who really needs to put in their all to try and get a victory on the lone road course of the HARC Lites schedule this season. Wes Jones out front, but maybe not for long. Kyle Schock gets a better run through the bus stop. They make a little bit of contact entering the carousel, but Wes Jones defends for now. He slides up the racetrack to keep the Motorcraft Ford at bay. But on the next lap, Kyle Schock Jr. trying again. Looks underneath contact. Oh, so close. Bumper to bumper racing through the bus stop. These guys are putting on a show. And who says 13 cars can't put on a good race? Kyle Schock sees an opening down low, coming out of the carousel, down the backstretch. It's side by side, and don't count Reddington and Reeves out, as they are still up there. Could be a 4-car battle for this one. Side by side through the final couple of corners. Kyle Schock Jr. may have the line going into this one, but Wes Jones starting to pull ahead. No, the door gets shut, and Kyle Schock Jr. slides up the racetrack in that tight corner. However, once again, they try and go for it. This is on lap number 9, and they're using all the asphalt to try and get it done. Side by side in the carousel once again. Kyle Schock Jr. has the advantage, but he's going to get to the 404, and they make contact. The leader is around. Wes Jones, the 404, goes sliding into the access route to the rest of the track where the boot is, and he goes from first to mid-pack. See what happened here. Kyle Schock just runs the 404 into the outside wall. I think he was getting a little sick of trying to get around the 404 cleanly. Decided to ram him off track. Here's on board with the roof cam for Wes Jones. See just what he saw there, and he just sees the 21 use up all the racetrack. Just nowhere to go for Wes Jones. That's a shame for him. He really needed a solid performance today. Take a look a little bit further back in the pack. Gigden Hauser, the number 1. We haven't talked about him much today, and maybe we would have preferred if we didn't, because he gets into the wall on the exit of the final corner. Meanwhile, up front, we saw that the 21 didn't get the lead from that incident. It's a yard sale out there, and Jerald Reddington is going to take the lead back from Franklin Reeves. We have quite the dogfight out front here. Look at these 4. They're leaning on each other through the carousel. Just no respect here today. And these are all drivers that are in a desperate spot, as we've been mentioning. Except for Kip Pitt in the number 8 car. He's up in the top 5, so he's hoping that these 3 start getting into each other. But the battle is not settled for the lead just yet. Jerald Reddington gets ahead in the final corner. Has the run on the high side. He's going to drive off and lead this lap. They head down the turn number 1, down the hill. Side by side for Reeves and Schock Jr. They try and settle things out. Schock may be shuffled out of line. Meanwhile, bad day continues for Anne-Marie Dupuis. Was following the 76 of Dean Reynolds into the final corner. Gets a little squirrely and gets the wall. Those two just not been running nice today. Kip Pitt in different colors today. He's running a throwback scheme to a car he raced during the 1989 and 1990 National Series. So, honestly, he runs way off track in the carousel. Keeps it going, though. That could have been very dangerous for him, deadly for his championship hunt. I was about to say, he's running like a younger guy out there, because he's really wheeling that 8 machine, the Simpeco Chevy. Meanwhile, going into turn number 1, Franklin Reeves sees the lead once again, looks to the inside, and oh man, what a dive bomb. But the AutoZone Toyota out front yet again. Wouldn't that be something if he could get the win here today? That could change the entire season thus far for him. Meanwhile, Kyle Schock Jr. is going to find his way back around Jerald Reddington, trying to get himself a lap led today. And here comes that typical Kyle Schock move we've seen today, looking to the inside, into the bus stop, sees an opening, but the 18 just a little bit smoother. The 21 had the lift, or else he would have gone off track, and Franklin Reeves off to a huge lead in the carousel as they try and duke it out for the second place spot behind him. Look at that, Kip Pitt, who almost took himself out of it a couple laps ago, sees an opportunity there, doesn't quite take it 3 wide, maybe smart of him to do. He's running well here today, doesn't want to tempt fate, as it were. Meanwhile, in the back, the 8 car gets a little squirrely in the final corner there. He's going to tap the wall. Franklin Reeves gets out to the race lead for now. But Kyle Schock Jr. and Jerald Reddington, they're just putting on a show back there, trying to determine who's going to be the one that challenges Reeves with very few laps left on the counter. We've been flying by through these. These laps burn by quick. I know it's a road course, it's the longest track we go to on the year. But here we go. The Motorcraft Ford looking to the inside of Franklin Reeves. Franklin Reeves gets wide and they both go spinning. The leaders are around in the bus stop. And both of them are going to get into the outside wall. And Franklin Reeves has come up onto the 21, rams him, and is going to cut him off. Some bad blood between those two. A lot of people aren't too happy with Kyle Schock today. And though I will say that might have been Franklin Reeves. Maybe the 21 could have given a little bit more space. But at the end of the race, it's hard to say. Here's on board with Franklin Reeves. And yeah, that was a Kyle Schock jump scare right there. And they both go around into the bus stop area. Luckily, no gravel trap out there anymore like it was back in the old days. But here's the onboard for Franklin Reeves. You can tell he's driving mad there. He had this win in the bag. It all falls apart on him. Meanwhile, Jerald Reddington, the pole sitter for the day, last in the standings, having a real rough time of things on the HARC Lites tour this year. He finds himself in the lead with fairly few laps to go. Kip Pitt right behind him, trying to make something happen. And you see Anne-Marie Dupuis, who is still following Dean Reynolds, tries a little bit too hard to chase him down, sends that car off into the bus stop, and this has just not been the day for her, though really hasn't been the season for her either. Here comes Kip Pitt in the Simpeco machine, but he's going to miss his mark. He overdrives the corner, and he sends his car hard into the tire barrier. And that's going to end a great day for Kip Pitt, as he's going to bleed positions like crazy here. Here's on board with the number 8 machine, that throwback, and yeah, it just wheels it a little bit too hard there. Ooh. Yeah, you hate to see that. And yeah, you can see a lot of damage to the side of that car there. It's not driving too straight there. Dean Reynolds in the 76 isn't just getting into the 09, he's getting into the 01 too. We haven't talked about Porky Porkins today, but they make some contact in the bus stop. Could have been a lot worse for those two, but they both straighten it out and continue racing. Dean got the spot though, we can say that at least. Well, up front is Jerald Reddington. It is pretty much all by himself up there. He's got Bill Littlejohn, the number 30, who has worked his way up to second place. He's kept a clean race so far. But this is all Reddington with just one lap to go when we come to the line, though he's made a little bit of contact with the outside wall. The 30 has a run. Bill Littlejohn side by side with the 112 with 1 lap to go. Here we go in the turn number 1. Littlejohn's got the preferred line. He puts it underneath there. And Bill Littlejohn is going to take the lead for the first time today. How many times we mentioned him today so far? 0. This is the first time he's ever been in the picture today, and he's up front right now in car number 30. Going through the final couple of turns, Bill Littlejohn kept it clean all day, started 12th out of 13. He's going to lead the final lap and get his first win of the HARC Lites season. Littlejohn is going to take it home at the road course. How about that? What a finish. Reddington just barely touched the wall coming out of the final corner at the end of lap 15, and that was enough to allow the number 30 to chase him down. And Bill Littlejohn's going to go to victory lane today, and all 13 cars are going to finish this one underpowered. So good job for the field. Let's take a look at the race results. Bill Littlejohn leads this one. Jerald Reddington, a bitter second place for him. Louis Dubois, we didn't talk about him today, but he finished it out strong in third. Wes Jones is in fourth, followed by Igden Hauser, the top 5. Kyle Schock, Franklin Reeves will have to settle for 6th and 7th. Kip Pitt drops to 8th. Mark Nutt had a rough day. He's in 9th. Porky Porkins, Dean Reynolds, 10th and 11th. Porky Porkins was the last car to get on points. He got by Dean Reynolds once again at the end. Peter Longboat didn't really show up much today after that spin early on, and Anne-Marie Dupuis, still no points on the board. Reddington gets the most laps led today. Kyle Schock had the fastest lap, and you can tell he had a lot of speed in that machine, and Reddington obviously the pole sitter. Going into the final race of the season, Louis Dubois leads by just 2 points over Mark Nutt. Bill Littlejohn rockets up to 3rd place in the standings with a shot to win, followed by Porky Porkins, Igden Hauser, Kip Pitt, Dean Reynolds, and Franklin Reeves. All of them have a mathematical shot to win it, but Schock, Longboat, Jones, Reddington, and Dupuis cannot win this championship. But even then, of those drivers that have a shot, really it's mostly the drivers up near the top of the standings there. Those are the ones with the best opportunity. Well, thank you for watching this race here at Watkins Glen. Next up, we'll be heading to Jukasa for the HARC Lites finale. See you next time.